Duanne Eddy! Oh! Oh, da, da, ow. Duanne has left the building. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I'll get rid of that. There we are. My name is Quinlan and welcome to Melbourne Musos Facebook Live. And this is a tribute to one Duanne Eddy, the king of twang guitar. And I'm doing it from a drummer's point of view. There you go. He left the building on the 30th of April. And it's a celebration because he made it to 86. And what I'd like to do tonight is actually talk about his big album that broke him everywhere. Have Twangy Guitar, Will Travel. There you are, the great Duanne Eddy. Hey, so what I'm going to do is go through that album from a drumming point of view, but with a bio as well. There you go. One of my young students, Joseph, if you're watching, he always says, I always say, like when we learn a new beat, like, anything like that, and then we put it to songs, and I tend to do a little bit of the history lesson as well. So what I'll do is sort of say, well, this is the beat used in the 1950s. This is the 1960s, this is how the Beatles did it, this is the 70s, 80s, 90s, even 10s, and now Tay-Tay, and all that. And I said, so what song do you want to do? And he always says, I want to do that Duanne Eddy. The Duanne Eddy song. I said, it's Duanne. Okay, Duanne Eddy. He's 12. And then the next week, or a couple of weeks on, you know, it's happened quite a number of times now. I said, what song do you want? I want that Duanne Eddy. It's Duanne. There you go. If you think of the word genius, sometimes genius comes in various forms. And in music, one of the terms for genius that I really took to early on is genius is when you actually change the sound of your instrument. That's genius, that kind of thing. So when you start thinking about people who changed the way that the guitar sounded, and you're talking about the 50s, and then Duanne Eddy came along with this twang guitar, twang, twang, bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow, wow, 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 wow. Oh, it's brilliant. There you go. Change the thing. It's just, and he's just loved. And then, of course, you've got your Jimi Hendrix. You've got people who just changed the sound. If you're talking about jazz, trumpet, you could talk about, there's Dizzy Gillespie and then there's Miles Davis. There's many brilliant, brilliant musicians. But I always like that one little term, someone who changed the sound of the instrument. I mean, you know, he's revered. So I'm going to talk about him a little bit. And I don't want it to be a downer or anything like that. He had an incredible life and he was loved, and a full and rich life, and absolutely revered. The guitar sound that he made, Gretsch guitars, came up with his signature guitar, and then the signature 6-string bass, which is really like a baritone guitar. And just those sounds. And he created a sound that we personify with, you know, westerns and things. You can hear the twang, 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 twang. Twangy guitar. Duanne Eddy, April the 26th, 1938 to April the 30th, 2024, just a couple of days ago. Was an American rock and roll guitarist. In the late 1950s and early come on, get your lips together, Chris. And early 1960s, he had a string of hit records produced by Lee Hazelwood, which were noted for their characteristically twangy sound, including Rebel Rouser, Peter Gunn, and Because They're Young. He had sold 12 million records by 1963. count them. Oof, there you go. Early life. Eddy was born in Corning, New York on April the 26th, 1938. He began playing the guitar at the age of 5. In 1951, his family moved to Tucson and then to Coolidge, Arizona. At the age of 16, he formed a duo, Jimmy and Duanne, with his friend Jimmy Delbridge, who later recorded as Jimmy Dell. There you are. Beautiful. While performing at local radio station KCKY, Jimmy and Duanne met disc jockey Lee Hazelwood, who produced the duo single Soda Fountain Girl. Recorded and released in 1955 in Phoenix, Arizona. Hazelwood then produced Sanford Clark's 1956 hit The Fool, featuring guitarist Al Casey, while Eddy and Delbridge performed and appeared on radio stations in Phoenix before joining Buddy Long's Western Melody Boys, playing country music in and around the city. Okay, there you go. I'll come back to all of that, and what I'm going to do now is I'll go to his breakthrough album and go to here. Now, I hope I don't get blocked by whatever for copyright. Rick Beato talks about that at length when he's trying to teach and he presses the button and go, well, hang on a minute, I'm sort of teaching the song and how come I'm getting blocked? You know, that kind of thing. So if that happens, okay, fair enough. But I'm only going to play a portion and then I'm going to talk about the drums to it and the twangy drums, whatever. Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel, 1958. Lonesome Road is the first one. That is a 2-feel. Boom, boom. Goes into a bit of a 4. All right, bit of a backbeat. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, beautiful kind of thing, nice and swingy. There it is. Pink Panther even. There you go. There it is there. Now, what starts to happen is when you're getting into those kind of rhythms, you go into the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you've got two main kinds of feels with your feet. You've got the 2 feel, which is right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So bum, 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 ba ba doo ba doo ba, and then bum, 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 4 feel, but the hi-hat stays the same. Jump rhythm and jump. Jimmy Chapin talks about the jump rhythm. It's both hands together. And then what happens is you do with your left hand, you come back a bit. 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, the accent on 2 and 4. 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1. 4 Oh, Lonesome Road. There you are. So that's what goes on there, you see. Next comes I Almost Lost My Mind. Nice medium shuffle. Now that could, because of the tempo, you could. A little build. Don't So boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba twang, a twang, a twang, a twang. There it is there, a nice little medium shuffle. And to get a medium shuffle, it's triplet based, so you would have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2. I don't mind if it's basic tonight because it's just wonderful stuff. And then you would take out the and, so it'd be 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And then you can modify the count to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And then there's a little thing called a build. It's not a fill-in, nor is it a break. It's just a build. You get lay into it a bit. There you go. One little trick with shuffles, or something that I really like to do, is if you've got the time to do it and build it up, get the foot happening with your right hand. Woof. Builds it up a little bit. You've got to pick your time and place though, but that's what goes on. So, wonderful stuff. And then we've got a classic coming up. Oh boy. Rebel Rouser. Wow, bang, bow. Bow, bow. Cut time. Cut time is, I've talked about cut time with time signatures. It is a deceptively tricky thing on the theoretical side. When you have cut common time, you halve the value of the notes. So what that means is, instead of, say if I just go to a straight rock beat, and I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Cut time, you're doubling the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And that's what goes on there. And you see, so by default, your typical jazz rhythm. By default, it's a cut time. You often see it like the other week I was talking about Ted Reed's Stinkopation. I'm not going to put it up there. I'll give too many of my older students flashbacks. No, not that one. I've got to go back into therapy now. That bloody book. Anyway, but what it is a lot of the figures are in cut time, you see? And that's what happens there. And then what I did down here... The train beat. Where's Nick Cushion when you need him? Hello, Nick, boy, wherever you are. He said, how about a train beat a couple of years ago? I said, don't mind if I do. There it is again. Only this one with Duanne Eddy. So there you go. So what happens with a train beat, which is very famous with Johnny Cash. And he even went to the point of putting a dollar bill inside. People thought it was brushes and stuff. Yes, eventually it was. But when he was starting out, he came up with this idea of putting a dollar bill in between his strings on the guitar. And then when he was going, the dollar bill would rattle against the strings. Try it now if you've got some kind of $5 note or something like that, bit of paper even, and just give it a whirl, and it goes dum chicka ticka ticka dum chicka ticka ticka dum, and then later on, boom bam bam boom bam, ready Steve, Andy, all right fellas. There it is. There's the train beat. Oi! I'm going to go back to reading a little bit. And there we go. So there's a couple of tracks there. I don't mind if I go over tonight because I want to do quite a bit. I'll cut it down for Channel 31, down to the normal 25 minutes. But I'm going to go a little bit longer tonight because it is a tribute to the great man and just celebrating what he was able to do. And it's just so much fun. And his music just puts a smile on your face. Really, it does. I love it. There you go. It's always there. Like where do you not hear twang in a Western? That kind of, it's so influential throughout. Like our musical culture, even in our in movies and all sorts of things. And there you go. Now here's an interesting little bit for your studio. Eddy devised a technique of playing lead on his guitar's bass strings to produce a low, reverberant, twangy sound. Twang, twang, twang. Went the trolley. Twang, twang. Sorry. When he was 19, he had obtained a 1957 Chet Atkins model Gretsch 6120 guitar at Ziggy's Music in Phoenix, and in November 1957, Eddy recorded an instrumental, Movin' and Groovin', co-written by Eddy and Hazelwood. Now that's a little bit of a side thing. It's not written here, but I know about it. He went in, he said, and like us all, we go, oh, look at that guitar, I want that guitar. And Ziggy the man said, well, Duanne, what have you got? And I said, well, I've got my guitar, it's in the trunk of the car. And he pulled it out and said, okay, well, I'll give you 60-something bucks for that. I said, but I've still got it'll be a while before I can pay it off, and I sort of need this guitar for my, my work, just doing my gigs. And he said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. And then Ziggy the man, what a gentleman, in the sense that he said, well, you take the guitar, I'll take your guitar, and then you come in every week and just give me payments for the difference, sort of thing. So what trust and friendship, and just a great story. It's not here, but I just know the story, sort of thing. Ziggy's Music in Phoenix. There it is. All right, so here goes. As the Phoenix studio had no echo chamber, Hazelwood, the producer, bought a 2,000-gallon water storage tank that he used as an echo chamber to accentuate the twangy guitar sound. In 1958, Eddy signed a recording contract with Lester Sill and Lee Hazelwood to record in Phoenix at the Audio Recorder Studio. Sill and Hazelwood leased the tapes of all the singles and albums to the Philadelphia-based Jamie Records, which is what this is. Philadelphia. Get your lips together, Chris. There you go. So there's that one. Oi! All right. Next track, thank you very much. It is called Twang, 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 Twang. 3:30 Blues. Straight up. Now this has all the main tricks. Now, when I talk about tricks, they're not tricks, they're techniques. Now, when you're playing any kind of a beat and you're playing some of the classic songs, they're of a type. And when you're actually getting into it, one of the things that I hope is getting taught in the various colleges and stuff is this stuff. You just learn it on the job. And what it is a thing that I call stop, build, break, and fill. Hello, Phil. How you going? Lucky Phil. He won the chook raffle tonight, but now he's shit out of luck. Who remembers that old ad? I don't think they said the naughty word. But anyway, there you go. Stop, build, break, and fill. So what I'm going to do now is just going to play a normal rock beat. And here it is. And what it is getting to know the song form. That was a 12-bar blues. So you've got 12 bars. A lot of people call it a 4-2-1 progression because you've got, if you're talking chords, you've got 4 bars of the first, you've got 2 bars of the 4, 2 bars of the 1, so that's the 4, then the 2, and then the 1 is 1 bar each of the 5, 4, 1, and if you're going to go around again, it's back to the 5 usually. There you go. When you finish, you stick on the 1. Why do drummers need to know that stuff? This is why. Because what happens is when you're playing a normal rock beat, as I said, stop, build, break, and fill. Okay, so you've got maybe a rock beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3 and stop. 1. Go. Build. Break. The classic. There you go. So there it is. Now you've got to pick your time and place. Now, when you're hearing a recording, the stop is usually 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. Oh, that was 1, I think. But when you're doing it live, you're usually hearing the drummer for the rest of the band going. You hear it so often on so many different recordings. And you don't hear it on the original in the studio, but then you'll hear it live, and you have that 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and bump. You know, that kind of thing. And that's what you've got there. When you're doing a build, it's not a fill. You're building up like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So on it goes. And then a break, the typical, when I talk about a break, at least when I try to explain it to my poppets, is that it's different than a fill-in because you're keeping the hi-hat there. So you're breaking up the beat. So if you've got a rock beat, what kind of a rim shot was that? There it is. And a break. I'll fill. Go sick. Appropriate to the song. There you go. And often when I talk about fill-ins, it comes from the strangest of places. It might come from the guitar going diddle-doo-doo, diddle-diddle-diddle, and if you're busy going, it's like you're interrupting somebody. So sometimes it'll be, can you just play the same thing I'm doing on the guitar? Diddle-doo-doo, diddle-diddle-diddle-dum, like that. What might be doing? You might be going down, but then, you know, you might be coming back up again. You know, that sort of business. You know, you mix your fills up and create the interest. That's where you see a lot of the styles of various drummers through their fill-ins. I mean, I'm thinking Keith Moon at the moment, but I'm not going to talk about him too much tonight because it's Duanne's show. But that's what you do with your stop, build, breaks, and fills. You see. There you go. I hope you're getting something out of this. I've hit the mark for the show normally, but I'm really only halfway. This might well become a 2-parter. So there you go. Next. Oh, what have we got now? There we go. Oi! Cannonball! 3-2 clave. is what that is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 mixed in with the aforementioned cut time. Oi, there you go. So my student who I mentioned before, Joseph, he loves that one. Can we do that cannonball one again? All right. Who by? Duanne Eddy. There you go. There it is. Oh, so there you go. I hope I didn't do that too rip through that too quickly. I'll go through it again. Basically, when you're doing a cut time, I've already explained it, but it's if you're going to do it with your feet, it's just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Come on, give me a chick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovingly called the Bo Diddley beat because Bo Diddley just hung on to it. That was his signature beat. Now, when you're doing a cut time, a nice little thing that you can do is like a little baby double. You know? Not just like that. It's just a little double on the bass drum sometimes, when appropriate. There it is. Okay, there it is. Now what we have, oh, I think I know what this one is. How's everybody tonight? Welcome to the engagement of Shazza and Dazza at the St. Albans Wedding Reception Centre and Kennels. How's that snitchel working for you? Twang, twang, twang. We'll be back after a short break and for our rock and roll set, and then we're going to do the hokey pokey. Thank you very much. Who's done one of them? At least they pay. All right, that was called a rumba. Can you roll your R? Or rumba, or rumba. Now what happens is with a rumba, this is my little one that I like to play a lot, especially at that kind of a tempo. You've got your Latin bass drum, so boom, hello. Oh, Dazza, you're such a lovely dancer. Thanks, Shaz. Ooh, cha-cha-cha. Oi! There it is. Oh, how corny do you want to get? Oh, it's wonderful stuff. And then you learn your stops, your builds, your breaks and your fills. You make sure you do it all the right way. Now what happens here is that the origins of the rumba is with the timbales. And what happens is you get your rim shots, but shallow ones, so they're quite poppy, you see. And then because of the rim click, Harold was always on my case about make sure you hold the stick round the other way. He'd blanch if you tried to, because it's a dead stick, you see, like that. I tend to go, ugh, whenever I see it as well, because it's dead. dead. You turn it around, bang, you've got life in it. And the reason why is because of the taper. It takes away the resonance of the bit of wood. You see, whenever you see a timbali stick, it's usually a little bit thinner. Do you see? And then you do it like so, and you get a nice round clocking sound. You can change the tone by moving it around. But one of the things about timbalis and all that is to be able to have a muted snare drum. You know that. And then what happens is with timbalis, you've got two. You've got the high and low. And so when I'm going to here, that's kind of like the lower timbali. I could do it like this if I wanted to do it all on one drum with the snares off. There you go. There it is. Okay, there you have it. And so there's that one. Corny as hell. Now I'm going to go to the brushes. And snares back on. And what we have now... Oh, Mr. Cash as well. Train beat. Bit of swish. I love this. I'm going to keep going with this bit. Now, if you haven't heard it before, there's a bit of surprise coming up. Benny Hill! Can't you see? He's running around in fast motion everywhere. I'm gonna put it up there as we go. Sorry. And I hope you're having a great week there. Oh. Ah, da 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 do 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 da da yakety sax. Oh oh. I've gone. Benny! My dad used to love Benny Hill back in the day. I know. I don't want an argument. It's all right. Anyway, yakety sax. As soon as I heard that, I know where Benny got it from now. Rip Duanne right off. Anyway, now, the next one is a track called Stalkin'. Oh, well, you got to remember 1958, so... Anyway, now, when you're listening to that, whoa. Oh, Tom Waits. Twin Peaks. David Lynch. Sleazy. Oh, that wonderful sleazy beat, in a good way. Ah. Did that cart you back to any kind of Bone Machine, Tom Waits album? You know, with him going, yeah, I woke up this morning, Twin Peaks. I'm enjoying myself. There you go. So there it is. All right. So there you go. It's good old slow blues with an L, Chris, with an L. There you go. Now, when we get to the next one, Ramrod. Spin round over the shoulder. When you're doing a twist, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's a great little thing if you can accent the second of the double tap. Ooh, wonderful. There you go. And a good thing with the 50s is when you're doing if you can do it with both hands. Of course, we're starting to look into the rock and roll side of Led Zepp. I mean, that's where it comes from, sort of. And that's Earl Palmer who did that kind of biz, but quite common in the 50s. So on. There it is. I suppose I'll get a wriggle on, I suppose. If I can get to 6:50, that's a double episode, so I might aim for that. So I'll give it another 11 minutes by that clock up there. I am enjoying myself. I hope you are too. It's about, if you only just joined, it is a drumming tribute to the great guitarist Duanne Eddy. Sounds a bit strange, I know, but I'm going track by track through his album. Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel. There you go. So influential. I'm rattling off all the influences. Who knew? Benny Hill, Yakety Sax. God help us all. So there you go. Now, if I keep on going, that's the twist feel. I am working a little quick. I'll keep going. I want to read a little bit too. And now this one, there we go. There's the rumba again, but done a little bit differently. Bit quicker. There it is. Oi. Boom. We're coming up to the dessert part of the evening at the St Albans Wedding Reception Centre in Kennels, and here we are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What you've got there is 1. Usually on the bell, but he's not doing it there. Rumba! There you go. Oh, I did a lot of them back in the day. Now, one of the things about that particular tune is that if I play it again, it'll break out into a shuffle. Blues Brothers, Murph and the Magic Tones. Hello, boys. I'm getting the band back together. Back to the shovel. There you go. Oh, there it is there. I'm going to read a little bit more very quickly. And let me see what's going on. Oh, that's timely. That was a nice little bit of a thing. It's the next song up. Movin' and Groovin' reached number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1958. The opening riff, Borrowed, ripped right off from Chuck Berry's Brown-Eyed Handsome Man, was in turn copied a few years later by the Beach Boys on Surfin' USA. The follow-up, I've already done it, Rebel Rouser, featured an overdubbed saxophone by Los Angeles session musician Gil Bernal and yells and hand-clapped by doo-wop group The Rivingtons. The tune became Eddie's breakthrough hit, reaching number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It sold over 1 million copies, earning Eddie his first gold disc. And he had a whole succession of hit records. There it is. And the album I'm doing tonight is Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel. And I've got a paragraph here about it. On January the 9th, 1958, Eddie's debut album, Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel, was released, reaching number 5 and remaining on the album charts for 82 weeks. Oh, on his 4th album, Songs of Our Heritage, 1960, each track featured him playing acoustic guitar or banjo. Ooh, there you go. Eddie's biggest hit came with the theme of the movie Because They're Young in 1960, which featured a string arrangement and reached a chart peak of number 4 in America and number 2 in the UK in September 1960. Oh, here we go. Eddie's records were consistently even more successful in the UK than they were in his native United States. And in 1960, readers of the UK's NME voted him world's number 1 musical personality, ousting the king, Elvis Presley. Oy! He's made a comeback, Art of Noise. Who remembers Duanne Eddy with the Art of Noise in the mid-80s doing Peter Gunn, which I've got there? And top 10 hit round the world. So he's got a lot of influence happening there, you see. And he just kept on going. I've got names like this, produced by Paul McCartney, Jeff Lynne, Ry Cooder, and the Art of Noise. Guest artists and musicians included John Fogerty, George Harrison, Paul McCartney, Ry Cooder, James Burton, David Lindley, Phil Pickett, Steve Cropper. Oh boy, he's, that's where he is. That's our Duanne Eddy. There you go. It's even on a Hans Zimmer soundtrack for that film Broken Arrow. There you go. Now, I mentioned Movin' and Groovin' there, so I'll get a wriggle on now. There's Movin' and Groovin'. Beautiful. So it's got that groove to it. Go off and listen to the album. That's the second last track on the album there. And do do dee 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 do 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 Oh, I get the sack for doing that over that. Anyway, there you go. Okay, I've got 1 minute left, and I'm going to go to the end. Eddie died of cancer in Franklin, Tennessee on April 30th, 2024, 4 days after his birthday at the age of 86. That's why it's not sad. It's a celebration. It's wonderful. What a man. What an influence on everybody. I hope I've been able to get everything in. Raise a glass for Mr. Duanne Eddy, his signature guitars. Go have a listen to some of the sounds. Sometimes the simplicity is deceptively difficult, and the sound that he got, it's just like, it's influenced so many people. I mean, who would have thought I would have been talking about Tom Waits, Twin Peaks, any kind of westerns and all that. I even got to Benny Hill at one point. God help us all. Anyway, and within that, I hope you got a lot of different things going with the beats that I've shown you from a drummer's perspective of what Duanne Eddy is, and there he is, and to Duanne Eddy. There you go.
Quinlan. And I'll have this up sometime over the weekend. I've got to watch the footy tonight. Not much editing tonight, I don't think. So, here's the Duanne Eddy. I like making that.